Okay, so hey, hi, hello, how are you? My name is Princess, but you can call me P. Yes, we in the auntie fit right now. Not too much, but okay, so if you guys didn't know, I'm currently in my first ever relationship, and I've been learning so much. Like, one thing about me, I love to learn things about myself, things about others. I feel like that's the whole point of life, to experience more of you, but also to experience more of others. So that has been a very interesting process. But yeah, I just wanted to share some things about what I've learned about um, relationships in general, and how I feel like, that can apply to everyone else, and how that could probably help you if you're in a similar situation. But okay, so um, I don't know, it's just been interesting talking to my boyfriend and really like assessing how we feel, because I feel like in general, when you're first getting to, this is our both for both of us, this is our first relationship. So I feel like in a relationship, everyone like paints it out to be this great thing, blah blah blah, there's all this, but a lot of times people don't emphasize the different aspects and things that actually go into a relationship, especially a healthy, successful relationship. There's a lot of different factors, but I would say the main thing is it's really learning how to navigate considering yourself, but also considering a whole other human being. And you also have to factor in that they have different lifestyles. They grew up differently than you. They have different attachment styles, different love languages. It's a whole another human being. So you have to take that into consideration, because yes, you're in love and you're wanting to be loved a certain way, but so are they. So it's like really finding that groove and that balance, because you can have chemistry with someone and all that, but compatibility is something that is like very important. And you see these couples or these old couples that lasted so long, you're like, wow, how did they do that? But they did that because they took the time to grow to be compatible with each other. And I think people don't realize how important that is. You can have chemistry with the rock down the street, but if y'all not compatible, like, what are you sitting here talking about? Like, nothing. So I think that's a very important factor. But yeah, it's just been interesting. Like, I'm grateful that we're both very open to seeing, and that's another very important thing. Say it with me, everybody, say it with me, shout it out. Accountability. If you and your partner are not capable or non-prideful in a way where you're incapable to take accountability, then I don't think the relationship is going to last long. Now, granted, this is my first relationship. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I'm not saying anything. I'm just expressing what I've learned, and being able to come out of yourself to consider someone is important. And one of those things would be taking accountability, because oftentimes, we all can think that we're right. We could all think that, oh yeah, no, what I'm saying is right and what they're saying is wrong, and I don't care, and I'm not gonna do anything to fix this. But there's a point that you have to reach where you're like, okay, let me really come out of my head and come out of my emotions and genuinely see where you're coming from. No, it doesn't mean invalidating how you feel, because your emotions are valid. You know, unless told otherwise and it's some insane take, your emotions are valid. But you gotta realize their emotions are valid too, because they're viewing it from their point of view in a certain way. So it's just really thinking about someone to a full extent. Thinking about someone the way you would want someone to think about you and really see your side of something. So yeah, that has been a factor. I would also say, yeah, in general, okay, I'm woman all the way. Pro women, femininity, feminism, I love it. But I feel like in general, us women, we gotta give our men a little bit of consideration and a little bit of space when it comes to that emotional side. I know in general the saying is men are more logical and women are more emotional. I mean, I would think so. We have a whole cycle that's set up for us to genuinely be more emotional. But I think a lot of times men aren't given that space to show up emotionally, especially because in general they're giving this connotation where, or this precognition that they aren't emotional beings. So when it comes a time where they want to show up emotionally, they're kind of confused on how to do that. So I think being a little patient with them can help too, because it's like it's their first time. They're delayed. All right, I'll say that men are delayed emotionally, and women, we have to just accept that we are very advanced beings. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna allow some emotional incompetence or just incompetence in general, where a man is sitting here playing and acting like he's 2 years old when he's actually like 25. I'm definitely not saying that, but I'm saying there's a lot of times where men are just still trying to process their emotions, and as being beings that are advanced, sometimes it can be annoying because we're like, bro, like what's not clicking to you? What's not clicking to you, because I'm telling you this and you're not doing what I'm telling you. So sometimes it can be stressful in that regard. But I must say that men, specifically black men, have had this like, I can't find the word, but this painted of them for such a long time, where they have to be in this space of just showing up as anything but emotional. You know, in the black spaces, we're like, oh, well, in the old black spaces, people would be like, oh, a man cries, or a man is doing this, he's weak, he's a yeah. So it's like now, I guess we're moving into a more woke stage where guys are a bit more emotional, are still trying to process their emotions, and they're not quite sure how to do that. So in terms of a healthy relationship, I would say just being more patient with the man. It definitely requires some patience to get them to see where, or see what they're feeling, because they don't even know what they're feeling either. I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of men are in some avoidant attachment styles and stuff like that. Like, they get hurt from the first girl and then they start moving crazy after, and then they don't really know how to identify that they're carrying the hurt, and really identify that the way they're acting is wrong. And honestly, this is actually a great example with KC and the whole Love Island diaspora, because KC exemplifies how a black man moves when he feels hurt by a woman. Not even specifically a black woman, but by a woman. You see how their ego gets crushed, and they start building this resentment against women, or against the black woman, and the blame starts becoming against them, the hatred starts becoming against them, and it becomes this whole RICO case, and he's not able to evaluate and see the way in which his actions are disrespectful, or coming from a resentful place, like we can in Love Island, because there is no movie screen to replay the clips. So I feel like a lot of times men get trapped in that space, and they just start moving nasty, and they don't see that they need to be healed, because talking about emotions or talking about things like that isn't something that is normal for them. Even in spaces where he's talking to Corbin, you know, the other guy is just on some, yeah, bro, haha, yeah, you know, F the girls, and he's condoning that rather than seeing, hey, you know, maybe this isn't ideally how you feel, or hey, maybe you're moving from a hurt space. But a lot of times they're not provided with spaces like that, or opportunities to just express themselves in that way. So that's where the confusion comes in. But yeah, I would just say patience, accountability, transparency, just being more open-minded, because it's like, it's very easy again to be stubborn and be like, nah, it's my way or the highway, nigga. That it's my way or the highway, and your way is wrong. But also just coming together and seeing where both of you could have went wrong, or both of you may have misread the other person, is very important. But that's kind of just what I wanted to share. Some think pieces. I know it's not easy. It's not at all. Cause girl, I thought a relationship is just my man by me. Oh, like the seed, I'm gonna get thicker. That's not what it is, right? You gotta know what you signed up for. You gotta know what you signed up for. Don't just idolize them videos you see on your page where the people is smiling and kissing and oh, couple goals, hashtag couple goals. No, okay? It takes effort. It takes time. All right? You gotta build the proper foundation. You gotta know what you want. You gotta know who you are, actually. These are very important things. You gotta know who you are before getting into a relationship. If you don't know who you are, then you will lose yourself in a relationship. That's another very important thing. A lot of women lose themselves in a relationship. Even some guys, you will lose yourself in another person because you don't know who you are yet. So it's very easy to just get into this space where you're just attached and you need this person. That's another thing. Like, the different attachment styles are very important, and very important to identify how a person's childhood was and how they respond to things, because that's how you actually get to know someone. Like, avoidant, if he's avoidant and you're anxious, and then it's like just things will just bounce off each other and things won't work, and you'll be confused as to why, because you're like, we have all this chemistry, but it's like certain things aren't working. You have to deep dive with people. Take some time to get to know them even before jumping into a relationship. Take 3 months. 3 months is not insane. 3 to 6 months to genuinely get to know somebody. Think about how long you've been alive, and then factor in how the people around you that you know your whole life, how much they know you. You feel me? Like, you gotta really think big when it comes to getting into things, because a lot of people will just be like, oh, but it's not that serious. Everything is that serious. Everything is that serious. My what was it, my philosophy teacher, he said he said, accept nothing and question everything. I don't know if that first part was right, but he always said to question everything. And it is very important to question everything. You should want the best for yourself and know if you truly align with someone. And you're not just going to know that by opening your legs, respectfully. Like, you really got to take the time to get to know somebody. So, yeah, little tough love at the end. But if I'm going to be your big sister, if I'm going to tell you the truth, I'm going to tell you the truth. So, just take those little words of wisdom, guys, and apply it. Much love to you all. I wish everyone beautiful, successful relationships. And if a relationship isn't for you, I wish you beautiful, successful solitude. Not everyone needs to be in a relationship. Not everyone needs to be dating. It teaches you more about yourself, but it isn't 1,000% necessary. Like, loving on you is even more worth the exchange. Like, even better. That's also another thing. Before getting into a relationship, make sure you have that foundation of love for yourself before you set a foundation of giving that love away to someone else, because that's also equivalent to giving yourself away or losing yourself in a relationship, because you don't have enough love for your own self. But yeah, you gotta live, you gotta learn. So love y'all. I love y'all. Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and longevity. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And stay tuned. Bye.